Apple apparently still hasn't decided whether its first foldable iPhone should come in black. And honestly, I'm starting to think someone inside Apple has developed a personal grudge against one of the most popular phone colors ever made. Seriously, we spent years watching black become the safe option almost everyone buys. You walk into an Apple store, all the colorful models are lined up beautifully for marketing photos, and then half the customers walk out with the black one anyway. Yet somehow Apple keeps acting like black is this controversial design choice. The latest rumor comes from Weibo leaker Instant Digital, who claims Apple still has not finalized whether the iPhone Fold is going to come in black at launch. They even joke that Apple seems to have some sort of vendetta against the color black. And honestly, I kind of agree, because I still don't understand what happened with the iPhone 17 Pro. Apple introduced that deep blue finish, and it looked fantastic, don't get me wrong, but where was the proper black option? Not dark grey, not space blackish, not almost black if you squint, just black. Now we're hearing the same thing could happen with the foldable iPhone, which most are referring to as the iPhone Ultra, a phone that's apparently going to cost over $2,000. Yes, you heard me right, $2,000. And Apple apparently sitting there debating whether one of the available colors should be black. It's such a weird discussion to even be having this late in the process because everything else about this device sounds like it's moving towards launch. Samsung displays reportedly already ramping up OLED panel production, mass production preparations are underway, September is only a few months away. Normally color decisions are locked down long before this point because colors affect manufacturing, logistics, inventory planning, component orders, replacement parts, marketing renders, retail stock allocation, basically everything. So part of me wonders whether this isn't Apple being indecisive and maybe it's supply chain simply not knowing what the second color is yet. Well, I kinda lied, because we have actually had one supply chain source, specifically Macrumors source, claiming Apple's second color is going to be an indigo finish similar to deep blue on the iPhone 17 Pro. And if I had to place a bet today, that's probably where my money goes. Not necessarily because I want that outcome, I actually don't. I'd still prefer proper black iPhone Ultra, but Apple's recent behavior points towards that deep blue finish. I just mentioned the iPhone 17 Pro, the iPhone Ultra following suit does make sense. It feels like the exact type of color Apple would consider premium enough for an Ultra branded device while still remaining conservative. Because that's the other thing, every leak surrounding this iPhone points towards Apple playing safe with the design of this thing. No bright colors, no product red equivalent, no flashy titanium orange, no weird experimental finishes, just expensive looking colors for an expensive looking phone. And honestly, I get it. This thing's already going to attract attention. You don't need a bright yellow foldable when the phone literally folds in half. That's already doing enough of the talking. Still though, I can't shake the feeling Apple's missing an opportunity. Imagine spending over $2,000 on a phone and being told your choices are white and deep blue, which looks grey in most lighting. And that's a funny thing because Apple treats their colors like they're major innovations. Every September we get dramatic presentations about aluminium particles and carefully engineered pigments and new manufacturing techniques, then half the colors end up looking grey indoors. But you know what? Limited colors actually makes complete business sense. Every additional color creates extra complexity, more inventory, more manufacturing variations, more stock management, more repair parts, more forecasting, more opportunities for shortages. And this launch already sounds supply constrained before it's even official. Supply chain analyst Min-Chiu Kuo has repeatedly warned that production challenges should continue well into 2027. That's how complicated this product appears to be. Which is exactly why I think Apple's approaching this launch the same way they approached the iPhone X. People forget the original iPhone X only launched in two colors, silver and space grey. That was it. At the time it felt limited. A year later the iPhone XS arrived and suddenly Apple had one more choice. Gold showed up, manufacturing improved, supply chains improved, and the product matured. I can absolutely see Apple following that exact same playbook here. Launch the first generation foldable with minimal options, keep production manageable, get the device into customers' hands, then expand colors later once manufacturing becomes easier. And honestly, Apple has been doing this sort of thing for years. Look at the original Apple Watch Ultra, one color. Look at the Vision Pro, one color. Brand new product categories often launch with very limited customization. The hardware itself is the headline, then colors come later, which leads into something I find much more interesting in the colors themselves. what this product actually means for Apple's ecosystem. Because the Foldable isn't arriving in the same market Samsung entered years ago. Back then, foldables were experimental. No one knew whether consumers wanted them, no one knew whether the technology was ready. Today is completely different though. Apple's had years to sit back and watch everyone else make mistakes. Samsung dealt with hinge failures, Samsung dealt with fragile displays, Samsung dealt with durability concerns, and Samsung dealt with awkward software experiences. Google learned their lessons, Honor learned their lessons, OnePlus learned their lessons. Apple basically received free research from the entire Android industry. That's a pretty nice position to be in. And it means Apple's first foldable might end up feeling a lot more polished than many early foldables ever did. Will it still have a crease? Probably, physics still is a thing, but Apple's had years to refine its approach, and so I think it's going to be pretty minimal and basically creaseless. What also interests me is how this affects the relationship between the iPhone and the iPads. Because the rumored internal display size is getting surprisingly close to an iPad mini, that's where things actually become fascinating, because a foldable iPhone isn't just another slab phone, it's potentially the first step towards merging product categories. Imagine if Apple really leans into multitasking, imagine split-screen apps becoming genuinely useful, imagine Apple Intelligence features designed specifically around larger displays, imagine developers suddenly prioritizing foldable layouts because Apple entered the category. That's something people consistently underestimate. Apple doesn't always invent categories, but when Apple joins a category, everyone starts paying attention. Developers care more, accessory makers care more, carriers care more, consumers care more. The entire conversation shifts. We've seen this happen repeatedly, and yes, Apple arrives late, painfully late sometimes, but arriving late has advantages when everyone else spends years finding the mistakes first. I also think the $2,000 plus price tag changes how Apple views colors. Someone spending that much money probably isn't choosing between the device because one version is blue and another is green. They're buying the technology, they're buying exclusivity, they're buying the fact it's Apple's first foldable. That's why I suspect Apple's comfortable limiting options. The demand will likely exceed supply regardless, especially during the first year. And let's be honest here, the first pre-order window is going to be absolute chaos. People refreshing websites, delivery estimates slipping immediately, tech YouTubers panic ordering multiple storage options, content creators in general pretending like they're calmly evaluating purchase decisions while secretly smashing the pre-order button at maximum speeds. You already know it's going to happen. And despite all the complaints about the colors, I still think this device is gonna sell out fast, because this feels bigger than any other yearly iPhone refresh. It's a new form factor. This feels like Apple introducing the direction of the next decades. Maybe not immediately, maybe not for everyone, but definitely eventually. Before I wrap up, if you've made this far, comment the word midnight down below. I'm curious how many people actually watch all the way through these longer Apple discussions. As for the color situation, I'm still hoping Apple surprises us with a proper black finish. Deep blue would be nice, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, black remains black for a reason. However, I'm actually still team silver, because yes, while I talked about black at length, I still mostly buy silver Apple products. Regardless, it is becoming Apple's biggest mystery. Why are they avoiding black? Maybe they're saving it for the iPhone Ultra 2, maybe they're saving it for some special edition, maybe they just enjoy making people wait. Honestly, with Apple, none of these possibilities would surprise me. Anyway, let me know which color you would choose for the foldable iPhone. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and press the hype button because it genuinely helps small creators massively with the algorithm. And if you want more foldable iPhone coverage, go watch my previous video discussing Apple's reporter plans to make the foldable easier to repair than rival devices, because that rumor might actually be more important than this whole color debate.